books have really been my medicine, honestly. Mind, body, and soul. It has given me access to little portals of just finding my people. Even if it's not real people, they're words on a page, but it's just that soul language. Literally, when you open up a book, I'm talking to book people, so you guys know, when you open up a book, you just enter another world. It's like a time capsule. I love reading fiction, fantasy, sci-fi. I really like empowering reads, so you would find me reading a lot of spiritual books, things that allow me to expand my mind and expand my heart, and learning how to navigate the seasons of my human life in society as a spiritual self. You know, in society we experience things that tempts us and brings us farther from the self. So the challenge is not if we can fit into society, but if we can remember to come back to ourselves. That is why I'm here. I'm here to connect, and not in a very shallow kind of way. I really want intimate connection, authentic community where it's safe and we are living unmasked, you know, celebrating one another for who we are, because we know deep within us we want intimate connection. We don't want the nonsense. We don't want the superficial, the, you know, fear-based connection, karmic connections. And I am very serious about being the best person that I can be, and ensuring that I'm expressing myself as my highest self, as my wisest self, who knows that there is still much more to unveil, still much more to learn, and ergo books. So I always visit the library, and one rainy day, ode to books and reading vibes, the ambiance, the rain, the candles, the coffee, the books, chef's kiss. But go to the library, and immediately in our library there's like a lucky find, or you know, the top picks for the year right now is 2023. And I, on the very top, I stumble upon The Phoenix King, and I didn't leaf through it. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know what to expect. I never just go by the cover or the title and just check out a book. But something about this book, I was immediately drawn to it. Not only was it called The Phoenix King, I love phoenixes and what they represent, but I needed that. I was in that season of my life of rebirth, and I still am. These planets aren't playing, so I still am. And I read it, and I was blown away. Let's just say that I was blown away. First Indian author that I've ever had the pleasure to read, and wow, her diction, her just wow. I'm not gonna lie, towards the end of the book I was like, ugh, like, all right, we're on page 458, let's wrap it up. I want to read the next thing. And I think that we all get there as the readers. We have so many books on our list that it's like, all right, and we start rushing the process. We're no longer enjoying it because we're trying and excited about something new, inevitably so. And that's what happened. And then I got to the end of the page and I was like, phew. Then I turned the page and I've discovered that it is a series. So now I have to read the next book. And I was like, wait, really? I was so excited. But then I was like, ugh. But dang, that means I have another book to add. And I have like a very short, window of time to read all these books. So anyways, I read that. I haven't gotten the second book. I'm starting to read a book for school, Salvage Bones. I'm reading a different book. I read 9 Hacks to Reinvent classroom discipline, or I think I'm butchering the title, but that was a really great read. And oh, I forgot, from the little library, I stumbled upon Eleanor and Park, and let me tell you that book pulled on my heartstrings, let me tell you. And I digested that reading material in like 2 or 3 days, not even joking. And I know for like the OG bookworms, that's like 2 or 3 days. I read that in like an hour or two or whatever. And that was me. But in my defense, I'm a mama, 2 kids. It's really hard to squeeze in some book time, because I just feel guilty when, my kids are there. It's kind of like being on the phone. You're not really present. And so on my spare time, I do try and read. And I'm not a really big fan of audiobooks at all. I like the pleasure of, holding the book and reading. I don't even like PDF books. Not only does it hurt my eyes, but I just, like I said, I'm a traditional sappy person. I like my books. I like the feel of it. I'm that weirdo that smells the spine. That's me. Hey, I said it. I admit it. Oh well. But yeah, that's who I am. As a kid, I remember watching Beauty and the Beast, and when Beast opens the door to Belle's library, I was legit like, Belle, like, wow. And I'm like, one day I will own a library like that. So serious, not even kidding. And that is still the goal. Let me pull up the new like booktuber questions to make sure. So I think I answered why did I start this channel. And in case I totally flopped, let me just say, to sum it all up, is I started this channel to really connect, to really create a community of not just readers, but just people looking to expand and live in their full self-expression. And I think books is like a gateway to doing that, to being courageous, to inspiring us, to influence us, to try new things, to make mistakes, to fumble and do it all over again. And I think it is books are a great initiation to deep and meaningful conversations, which I'm all about. I do not like superficial small talk. I will stay quiet, and yes, sometimes that can come off as aloof. I am not trying to be aloof, but I don't want that's not the vibe here. I want deep, juicy, meaningful, nourishing conversations. And I think what better way to do that than talk about a really juicy, amazing, good book. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So, BookTube, I can take you on my little adventures to thrifting books. Oh my god, Seattle has so many shops, and just little cute little things that I see are just like the full spectrum of being a human being who loves to read, who loves to write, who loves to do a lot of different little things. So yeah, and I definitely would like to create content related to teaching, because I think that teaching content could be applied to anyone, because we're all teachers and learners synonymously. I said it. I believe that. And I'm gonna roll with that. What are you most excited for this channel? I'm most excited for community. I have, just FYI, I have been an introvert since COVID. I'm gonna just say that, since COVID. I kind of stepped out of my shell, out of hibernation. When I started school, that's when I overwhelmed myself with a lot of like social interactions. I went through a really, 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 really bad postpartum depression, and I am diagnosed with chronic anxiety and depression. So with COVID, with being pregnant, giving birth, moving across the coast, it was a lot on me. And yeah, I think I'm ready now to open myself up and to really connect with people, but not in a way that, like before this, I would just connect just to connect because I didn't want to feel alone, or I was afraid of being alone and isolated or just socially awkward. So I would put myself in situations where you know it would be delusion. It would, yeah, it wasn't nourishing. And now I feel like I'm in a season where I'm not going to settle for anything less. So ergo, no small talks, no superficial anything, shallow anything. I don't have the appetite for that. I don't have the time for that, nor the energy for that. And so that's what I'm looking forward to in this channel, where we can communicate and no games, just unmasked, all love, all peace, all safety here. Like, we're here, we're doing this human thing together, regardless of where we are from, what we're going through. Somehow our paths crossed, and I think that's so beautiful and just magical. And that's what I'm banking for, that magic, that connection, Why do you love reading? I feel like I touched base on this already, but I love reading because it's like a time capsule to another world, to different worlds, where you meet new people and, you lament and you get angry and you love and you cry, and it's just, what's not to love about reading? I think that's the better question. And besides, reading as a child, it saved my life, and I feel like it's still saving me. It's given me permission to just feel all the emotions and process all the things of being human. What book or series got you into reading? Ooh, if we're talking about early, it's probably Goosebumps and Judy Blume, maybe. That's what I remember. But what really started, like what really got me going, was Harry Potter, duh, and Daughters of the Moon. Like, wow, I had every book and I was like a fiend for those books, for real. That and Harry Potter, yeah, that was my jam. Let's see, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? That's a good question, actually. I think my first question is, how do you have the time to read so many different books at the same time? Which, I mean, I can ask myself that same question because I have to read a whole bunch of different things synonymously for school and work and all that jazz. But honestly, or how do you pick out your books? Yeah. Or what do you do with your books after? Like, I know some people, by some people I mean me too, buy a whole bunch of books and put them in the bookshelf and sometimes never read it. I'm guilty of that. But yeah, have you read all your books on your bookshelf? Or are you just showing off? That is my question. What challenges do you think starting a YouTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think the challenge for me would be like being consistent, showing up, being consistent, pushing out content, meaningful content. But yeah, now I feel like confident. I broke free from the shame of being alone, or not having friends. I know people, but I wouldn't call them friends. Like, I think a friend to me kind of like being in a romantic situation, a relationship, is very important. That title is important to me. It's, it holds sustenance, and I'm not gonna just call anybody I have communication with as a friend. Like, we're not doing that anymore. That's not what I'm doing anymore. And so, with that being said, I'm okay with not having any friends right now, because I'm learning how to be a friend to myself. And I think for a very long time, because I wasn't a friend to myself, because I didn't love myself, I wasn't a lover to myself, I couldn't be that way to other people. Even though there were good moments and good times and I was there for them, in a way it was kind of like I needed them to complete me, kind of like objectifying somebody, and I was doing it subconsciously. But because I had time to reflect, because I've been actively working on being better, doing better, I had to sit with these, hard truths. And I wasn't a friend to myself. And I think that just showed me all the ways I could have been a better friend to people in my life, being just a better human. Anyways, I went on a little tangent, which I guess you can expect that a lot from me too, especially if I didn't sit down and create a script like this. I did not sit down and create a script. I had the time, and I'm like, hey, why not? Because if I don't do it now, if I keep pushing it off, you've ever like say, I'm gonna do this tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and then you don't do it, you find a reason not to do it, and instead find the reason to say, I'll do this tomorrow, and then the next day comes, and again, it's a continuous cycle. I want to break that cycle. So I'm doing it, even though it's not picture perfect. What kind of books do you like to read? I already answered this, but I'm gonna just try and fine tune it right now. I like to read anything that is nourishing and, you know, gives me permission to be my full self, my full expression, my full body expression. So I feel like we are very complex humans. Books that replicate that mirror the complexities and, just the full spectrum of being human, being a spiritual human, is very beautiful. And so anything that gives me life, anything that sparks creativity, anything that inspires me, and just sometimes I need entertainment. It's just really awesome to know that you can just pick from a whole bunch of genres, kind of like being a human. We have all these different emotions and needs and desires and all of that. I feel like books encompasses that same ideology. And so yeah, anything that is meaningful and nourishing and inspiring and allows me to take a step back to think about things. I love things like that. I love it. This is my promise to you and to myself. New year, just new. Yeah. There's something in the works here, and I look forward to unraveling that with you. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. I'll see you next time.